The biggest announcement in UK theme park history was recently made around a week ago, stating that Universal Studios Great Britain will be happening and is confirmed to come to Bedford in England. And alongside that, we got a huge piece of concept art of the entire park that we could look at and sort of deep dive into certain areas of, looking at the different coaster layouts and dark ride buildings that you can't see into. And as much as it's not going to stay the exact same as that, it looked amazing. And with me on this channel, often recreating rides and also pre-creating rides before they open, I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to start building Universal Studios Great Britain in Planet Coaster 2. Where as much as we only have one piece of concept art to work with, I'm going to attempt to build the entire park with all of its coasters, rides, attractions, shows, entrance area, everything like that I'm going to try and recreate. And in this first episode of this brand new series that will span across many months, I am going to be building that first entrance area with the brand new archways and that Universal Studios spinning globe, which is very iconic. So if you do want to stay up to date on this series and see me build this entire park, then be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future episodes. Because welcome to a brand new plot of land, a completely blank canvas. Welcome to the recreation, or pre-creation may I say, of Universal Studios Great Britain. I can't believe that I'm starting this series now. It's actually crazy to me. I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown on how this has come about, why I've decided to do this, and more. It's going to be a great series. I really can't wait for it. As said at the start, I know the concept art is just a first sort of concept. There's a few concept arts that have gone around from Universal for previous parks that do change a lot by the time the park actually opens. So that will probably happen to this, and half the recreation will be wrong. But we can update that over the next 6 years. That is crazy to me. So yeah, as these rides and stuff get sort of changed in that concept, if they do over the next few years, we can change it. Because, you know, it's not all going to be correct. And who cares if it's not? It's going to be fun nonetheless. But yes, we are going to try and attempt to build this entire park from that one concept art. Hopefully we get more of an insight eventually down the line. I know with Epic Universe they sort of showed off these walkthrough videos that were animated and you could see the different areas. Hopefully they do some stuff like that nearer the time. And I will update it when we get to that point. You never know, Planet Coaster 3 might exist by then. Or Planet Coaster 4, 5 or 6. So we might have to move game, guys. But as you can see, this is just the entrance turnstile area, it looks like. I'm going to have to bring up the concept art a lot, but right at the front of the park, there's this very sort of plain-looking pathway section that runs up to these nice overhead sort of covers, which I assume will be where security and probably the turnstiles are. If not, it will just be security, and then you will walk past that globe in the centre. There'll be a couple different buildings around the main plaza, into the archways that we see at most the iconic entrances to the Universal Studios parks around the world, and we're going to have one in Bedford, and then you'll enter through there, potentially in the turnstiles there, I don't know, and then you'll go into the park. But there's so many unknowns with this that it's sort of a half recreation, half my own sort of ideas, because some of the stuff in here I am going to have to try and build myself and come up with my own ideas for, such as like the stations for the coasters, the storylines of some of the rides. Like, we can't tell that from the concept art, can we? So I'm going to have to make do with what we've got so far. Where did this project come from then? Obviously, Isle of Discovery, my custom park, still ongoing. I'm going to finish that in the exact amount of time I said, probably another 10 episodes of that you'll probably see. And the water park is very much nearing completion. I've still been working on it. Last week there wasn't an episode because I just had way too much to do. There was so much news coming out, especially with this park being announced, so I mainly had to focus on that. Yeah, because I did not want to just rush into that water park and finish it, what I'm building in Isle of Discovery, because that would just be a waste of all of that time I spent on it originally, just rushing it for a week because of all this news. There's no point, so I skipped a week. We'll be back later this week, so stay tuned for that. That's my other series, Isle of Discovery. Still continuing with that, and continuing with this. But during that series, which is why I mentioned it, I actually did say about the fact that that series is going to finish soon, and I was thinking, what other things can we do in the future? Well, the main idea I had for a park was I was going to build the field TM. I was going to build the site in Bedford, in Kempston Hardwick. I was going to build the site of Universal Studios Great Britain and just transform it into what I think the park will be like. And I was originally going to sort of maybe leave one area and put it on the workshop, and some of you guys could design an area. And then they dropped the bombshell of the news, plus an entire concept art. So I kind of can't really do anything like that anymore, which does suck, because I would really like to have done my own little like custom park and worked around it like that. But yeah, I'm kind of glad I waited to start that now, because there would have been no point knowing what was coming, because now we know what it's going to look like, and it looks incredible. So this series was planned from a while back, originally going to be custom. Now it's actually a recreation, or a pre-creation. So very excited to get going with this. I haven't built a proper entrance area in so long. It feels like ages in this game since I last built an entrance area. Again, Isle of Discovery was the last one, probably in November, December time I built that, so almost half a year ago since I last built an entrance. It's actually nice to have some frame rate for once and no lag, because Isle of Discovery is so laggy now, but having this park being brand new, it's nice. Finally can see what I'm doing and not have to run at like 4 FPS sometimes. But here we go then. Through those little buildings now complete, we are now heading into the main plaza area. And as you can see from this concept art, well, this part of the concept art, it is very, very sort of circular. There's loads of different like shapes around, especially being made by the planters around the main circle as well. And then it just gets smaller and smaller. And then you've got that main globe in the center, which is obviously the centerpiece. And we're going to work on that in just a moment. With that globe, there was a lot of sort of contemplating how to do it. I was originally just going to put a sort of Planet Coaster piece in and make it like a Planet Coaster Universal style entrance. So it's a bit different from the plans, but it sort of works with the game. And then I thought this is a recreation, not me doing my own custom thing anymore. So I thought I'll just actually try and replicate the globe, which is difficult because, yeah, you got to try and make it look like the Earth. And I didn't know how to do that really. But after a lot of thought, I just went for some random material. I think I searched up panel or something and went for the first one. And we worked on it from there. I put different rocks in to do with the different landscapes you see. Just used a map on the other screen of mine to sort of follow that and make it as best I could. From a distance, it looks amazing. From up front, and not so much. But we'll get on to that soon. Because as you can see, the plaza area right now is going round that. There isn't actually a lake there yet. But you can imagine in the centre of that circle will be a lake. And yeah, this was probably a tedious way of doing this to try and make it circular. It took a lot of retries, and again, probably could have been done an easier way. But it worked in the end, I guess. Yeah, there's so much in this entrance area alone that you have to sort of look into deeply, which is if you've seen the field, you'll know that I spotted there's a backwards sign that says bar on the left-hand side, so there's going to be a bar in this main plaza area, which will be really nice, unless that is just a placeholder, because it could be. But there's so much to look at. The floor is like different in places. Of course, the archways at the back, we'll get onto them. And you've got all like the foliage and that white building on the side as well that, again, we'll get onto. That looks like some sort of just nice place to eat or to sit. I don't really know. But there you go. There is now a gap in the middle of that circle. I had to do that first before I could actually put that gap in, because that gap is where that globe is. And yeah, when we first saw this concept art, I've explained this so many times. Obviously, it's been a very busy week on the channel, so I hope you guys have enjoyed that. We've obviously done many field episodes with another one set to come very soon. And I've also been on the BBC News and on like the radio and stuff, so it's been a very hectic week. Obviously, usually I do so much other content that's not just Universal Great Britain or just recreations on Planet Coaster. I do so much more. But it's been such an exciting week. You can't blame me. It's the biggest news we've had in the theme park industry in forever, I feel. So, yeah, it's been such a cool week. Seeing that concept art, again, explained on the field, I just woke up still excited. I couldn't sleep the night before. Even when I went to sleep, I just can't believe we're getting something of this scale in the UK. And I know there's been a few complaints of people saying, well, we've been expecting it for a while. Why are you so like, oh my god? I don't think we were expecting a concept art to be released this early on. I think that's the main thing. Like, When it first came out, that newspaper front cover saying, like, this is what it's going to look like, we were just like, that can't be real, right? That's just a sort of placeholder. Maybe it's still Beijing or something. Nope, it was the real thing. And this is what we might be getting in the UK. Of course, as said multiple times, this is just the basic sort of concept art. There's going to be a lot added, a lot probably taken away, so there'll be various different things that change. I think the entrance area and that sort of first little straight will probably remain very similar, which is obviously great for me because I don't want to have to redo everything in the park. But I feel like some of the areas will stay exactly the same, but other areas will definitely change for the better, I think. So if you are thinking, for some odd reason, oh, Universal right now, the Universal UK park, it looks a bit crap, I can't lie to you. No, it does not. It looks epic as is, no pun intended, and they're going to make it even better when it comes to the UK. But yeah, I don't even know what I'm most excited for in that park. We've discussed it so many times, but I think it has to be the Back to the Future coaster. Like, I absolutely love the look of that. If that is Back to the Future, who knows? So to recreate that will be amazing. I really can't wait. Along with, like, the Minions Land looks fun. Well, Illumination Land per se. The huge Jurassic World part of the back, that looks incredible as well. But I think the main thing for this recreation that's really good, at least, is there are a few rides that already exist over in Beijing that I can just recreate exactly how they are over there, because we're pretty much going to see a very similar thing here, and that's perfect for the recreation. Obviously, a lot of people who visited Beijing might not, for some reason, want those rides to come over here. I think I'd be happy with it either way, but you've got to remember that the crossover between here and Beijing, Universal anyway, is not very big. Whereas if you think of Florida, if we brought in Velocicoaster, the Jurassic Park, River Adventure, and everything like that to the British park, you're just looking at the same stuff in Florida, so they're going to lose the market over there. But when you're bringing in stuff from Beijing and maybe even Singapore, who cares? Like, not many people have experienced it, so it's going to be new for this country and incredible for this country regardless. But here we go. Here comes the globe, the Universal Globe. And one thing I will actually thank Planet Coaster for is actually the text fonts that are in the game, the big sort of bulky text that you can place down on your entrances and stuff. One of the fonts is pretty much exactly like the Universal logo if you widen it out a little bit. So I've just done that for the actual logo, but we'll get onto that because as you can see, I'm making America, North and South America right there. Wow, look at it go. This is what I mean. It's not perfect from close up, but it looks a lot better from further away. This could have been a sort of art shape type thing where I actually realistically make the edges of each country and everything, but at that point it would look too cartoony, so I feel like this is the best route, and I don't really know what other route I could have gone. It was just as soon as I saw the sort of beige, like the sandy areas of the world on the globe map, and then also saw the grassy areas, I was like, well, there's only really one piece you can use for that, and it's the rock pieces, because either it's too dark or it's too bright, and these were like the perfect amount. So yeah, that's how we got past that one. Making Europe, I think now, just joining it up. And yeah, it's not an exact it's not an exact map, is it? Jesus, look at it, it's horrific. But again, up close, not too great. From afar, that's where it's at. I think the Universal logo that I put in a minute really does sort of set it apart from just looking behind at the actual globe itself. I think when you see the Universal logo, you don't really care about the rest of it, you know? You just see it as the Universal globe, not the real one. And that's fine by me. But I have stuck this on a rotational device in the game, so you will enter the park and it will be rotating. It will probably rotate super fast on this time lapse, but you'll see it rotating nicely in just a minute. And yeah, just putting more countries down. I think this is Australia going in now. Yeah, there's just so much to think about, even with something small like this. Recreating, I haven't done it for quite a while. My next recreation wasn't going to be this, actually. I won't give you an insight on what that will be, because I might still do it once Island Discovery's done. Who knows? But there was actually going to be another one before this, and I never thought I'd have to do and start this one so early, because I was expecting this project to not even start till maybe even like 2 years time, and that means I'd have the time to make the custom version, and then we could go back and look at it, and then I'd recreate this one. But yeah, no time to do that. It's already out, so I can't really do much about that. I just hope we get some more insights into the concept art soon. This bit was really annoying, trying to line it up on that. There's probably much better ways I could have done that, but yeah, I'm not exactly the most smart person when it comes to these things. I spend way too much time doing things the long way when I could have clicked a single button and done it really easily. So you can see me constantly trying to do it here, and then I got fed up. So I just did that, and then I think I lowered it back down. And there you go, that is pretty much the universal sort of globe with the logo going in now. And you'll see what I mean. Like, look, when you widen these text font pieces, it does start to look like the universal logo. Like, it's not far off, you know, which I'm really, really happy about, actually. Thanks, Planet Coaster. But yeah, there is genuinely so much to... Oh, I wasn't a fan of that, apparently. I deleted it. Nice. There is genuinely so much to look into with just this entrance area. I've said it already, but yeah, we're going to have to build maybe not the insides of some of the buildings yet, just to sort of keep the piece count quite low, because I know with with Isle of Discovery, I was a bit of an idiot, and I really did make the insides of like stations and stuff have way too many pieces, and then by the time we got like 4 areas in, it's just like, oh, the game is lagging so much. So I made those mistakes earlier. I'm not going to make them again. So we'll make what you can see on the outside for now. And I'm talking anything that's not a major building. So if there's like a show building or a dark ride, of course I'm going to build the dark ride. But when it comes to like the bars and that building, the white one that you'll see in a bit on the concept art, there's just no point in building like the detailed insides of them, because I guess we could do that at a later date if we find out what they are. Because in this main entrance area, of course, there is most likely going to be guest services, some toilets. There'll probably be a restaurant. We see a bar, so maybe that'll be part of that. Who knows? Just some like lockers, facilities, stuff like that. But considering you might already be in the park at this point, I'm not sure if you are going to actually have to go through the archways before you see all of that. So in this recreation, we're going to have it so before the archways, you're already in the park, because I feel like that works the best. And in the concept, you can't really see too much turnstile looking area underneath the archways, although those buildings are a lot bigger. I don't know. There's got to be some sort of security somewhere. I genuinely couldn't tell you. We're just going to have to wait and see. And this is the fun with it. It's not just going to be a full recreation. It's going to be that and trying to guess what everything is. So if you have any suggestions on what sort of layout you think that entrance area will be, then let me know in the comments down below, because I'll need a lot of help. Probably just as much help as I would with Isle of Discovery. Just accept the fact the names might have to be a little bit more precise for the rides. So I'm not too sure what the names of the rides will be. I already have a few names for the coasters in mind that I've seen online and stuff. And I can't wait to start building all of them. A lot of you have asked how I'm going to do the Back to the Future one or the Jurassic Park one at the back. You'll see as this series goes on. I've never actually recreated a full park before, and the fact I'm recreating one that only has one singular concept art, I'm a bit of an idiot for that. I feel like we can make this work either way, though. I feel like there's a lot of things that you can see that will make up for what you can't. And eventually, when we do get a look inside, that's when we can go back in this series and update it all. So there's definitely a lot of amends that will be made after, but it's just going to be fun. And I can't wait to bring this series to you guys. Obviously, in this episode, we're focusing on that main entrance area. After that, we can go all the way down the main street, make the sort of lake at the bottom, and then work our way around from there. Obviously, I can't for certain say how often these episodes are going to be. Isle of Discovery will still remain weekly, my custom park series as said. And then you'll probably see maybe a weekly series of this, but it's a recreation, so it might take a bit longer. So I'm not going to put a time frame on this one. I will try and make it weekly, but if I don't, please don't shoot me. But as you can see now, we are building those front archways that I've spoken about multiple times. I did just realise to myself I haven't put the whole build process of the white building and that little building off to the right in. I can't lie to you, those were pretty boring to build, so at least you haven't been able to see that, because genuinely that is just me doing it over time and forgetting to record it, because it's just me, isn't it? We're used to this by now. But as you can see, this is pretty much the process I'm going for. We're just going to take one of the sort of things we've made, like that little pillar and the roof section with the arch, and just duplicate it across, curving inwards, because that's what the actual sort of archway does. And then we're going to make that central section. This took a lot of time to sort of put it actually central with the globe you can see there, because there is actually the building off to the right. The entrance to it seems to be central to that as well. And then there's also the building off to the left that seems central. So just trying to line it up pretty well. There's a few sort of foliage bits missing, I think. I might have just missed out by accident. Although, no, I'm moving this across. I didn't have enough space for it, so I moved this across to make way for a little bit more room for that foliage. You can see the planter down there. There you go, sorted. Because not that everything's going to be one-to-one, because I can't guarantee that ever, because the game does have its limitations. But I'll try my best. Where I can't fit things in, it will be the least major things, such as trees or bushes or like a vast area of those. So if it is a bigger area of trees and bushes, worst comes to worst, it'll just be a bit of a smaller area, so it's not too big of a deal. But here we go, the pillars in the center, sort of working around that to try and make that central area where there's going to be the huge archway that will potentially say Universal Studios Great Britain, or whatever the park is going to be called. We don't know if it's going to be called that, because if it is, will that be the only park we get in a very long time? I don't know, because, you know, Universal Studios Great Britain, I know we have Universal Studios over in Florida, and there's obviously Islands of Adventure and another one. But if it isn't called Studios Great Britain right off the bat, then there is a definite chance we could be getting a second gate park very, very soon on top of this. But I will take this park either way. I don't care. But yeah, that center of that archway has this massive, like, earth emblem, like, I don't even know what it is. It looks quite grand, whatever it is. It looks like it's the earth with some text going around it, which I would assume is what will say Universal Studios Great Britain, because obviously the globe doesn't say Universal Studios Great Britain, it just says Universal. So yeah, very, very much looking forward to seeing that. Got some nice, like, pillars there again, just sort of working out how to do the detail up there. The shape of this archway in the center will look very, very odd at first, because I did it completely wrong and it was way too flat. So you will see it go up and become more of an archway, and I'm really, really happy with how it looks. Yeah, I had to get that in the new series, didn't I? Hey, let's go. But I just can't wait to show you this in real time, because again, like Isle of Discovery, it's going to be one of those time-lapse followed by real-time update sort of, you know, videos. That's how I always did the other series I do, Isle of Discovery. So why not do it that way? Because it works well. You get to see how I build it all, how I go about building certain parts, and then you get to see it in person. So yeah, that's going to be great to look through. I mean, later in the park it's going to be even better, because we'll be able to look through the entire thing from front to back. But now this will do. But yeah, there you go. You can see the shape of this archway is looking awful at the moment. So that is not how it stays. Do not worry. It definitely ends up looking a bit better than that. Which, as you can see, already working on it there, making some of the edges a little bit like wider and just trying to work out how to do it properly. And there you go, literally just scaling it up. And oh, the scale tool is still the best thing in this game. It's so good. I played Planet Zoo the other day for the first time in ages, and just the controls and not having the scaling tool, everything like that, it messed me up. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. So very grateful for having that in this game. And there you go. That is the archway at the front. Now comes that main little Universal Studios Great Britain sign, if that's what it's called. And from the concept, from a distance, you can see it is sort of a similar shape to that. I tried to originally downscale the Universal one to save me time, but it didn't work out. So I decided to just go for another sort of circular object made out of art shapes. This one didn't have to look realistic like the actual globe did. If it looked a little bit unrealistic, it didn't really matter, to be honest, which is why we just sort of went with this rocks, making the UK there. Wow, look at it go. Just making rock shapes. That was pretty much the plan. And then left and right, because of the size of the fonts, and you'll see it in just a moment, because of the size of these fonts, we're putting Universal Studios again. Instead of putting Universal Studios Great Britain in text, because that is a very long word, I have just put Universal Studios, and on the left and right, put the British flag. I thought that worked a lot better. Obviously, in the actual plans, there is no British flag in sight. Maybe there will be in real life, who knows? But I just did that for ease because obviously there was a lot of gap to the left and right, and it actually made for quite a nice little entrance when I finished it. But yeah, I can't believe this has almost been half an hour of me yapping, by the way. This is crazy. I think my other series has taught me, because we're so far into it, there is less and less to talk about each time. But because there's so much to talk about with this project and this brand new concept art that was released, I could talk for years. I don't know. I just can't wait for this park. You can't blame me for talking about it so much and recreating it this early on, because it just looks incredible, and it's the biggest news we've had here in the UK as I build the British flag. I did actually search on the workshop afterwards for a British flag because I wasn't exactly happy with mine, but again, one of those things, from a distance it looked fine, although when I searched it up on the workshop it came up with a Canadian flag, and that was it. When I searched up British flag, but, you know, you do you. So my favourite British flag, of course, is the Canadian one. I absolutely love it. As you can see, flipping that round now to make its way to the other side. And now it's time to go to real time. Behold in front of us Universal Studios Great Britain, the entrance to the park. Here we are then. As you can see, it feels weird not looking off to my left and seeing Talos over there. But this is where the turnstiles are in my version of the park. And as you can see, there's still a little bit of work to do with sort of the pathways and how they line up and everything. But we can sort that. I'll put security scanners in and everything. This right here is the first piece that was put in the entire park. So I'm tempted to keep it there just for homage sake. And as I showed you in the time lapse, I built this entire sort of turnstile area round. And it's just some nice little buildings. Nothing too special, just looks quite nice. And yeah, as you enter in to the Universal Studios Great Britain Park, and you can see the Universal globe spinning round, and then behind it is that awesome logo with the sort of archway. There are a few gaps on the archway, the detailing's not fully complete yet, but it's a good start. As is this plaza area with the planting that you can see around it. Of course, this sort of plaza area does need a lot more of these sort of, like, you know, square other pathway decals on the floor. There's also the need for a couple more buildings, because there's like a little red hut over here somewhere, I think, and then like a few other little things around. We won't look too deep into over here, because this is the side that you can't actually see too well on the concept art, because of course it is taken from around this angle here. So to try and see that from a distance is pretty much impossible. So that's where my creative mindset's going to have to come in, and we'll focus on that next time, along with finishing this white building over here. I'll show the concept art on screen right now. That is what it looks like, and I've sort of gone for the same sort of vibe, just looks a lot more modern in this game because there's not enough lights and everything. But again, that'll be sorted. All the planters I've tried to get right, even the seating I realised that's down here. This will be a really nice area to sit. And then, of course, over here, there's this building. I don't really know what this is. It might be toilets, might be a locker room or something. I don't know. And then the archways at the back, as said. I really do like how that middle logo came out, because you're not really going to see that from up close. So it does actually look like the British flag on the left and right, and also the globe behind it. And yeah, just seeing that sort of archway, I am very happy with how that turned out. And eventually we're going to see this entire park develop, and you're going to see this massive long stretch of path going down here towards the lake with all the rides around it. And I can't wait to bring all of you along for the journey of this recreation. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for this entire series, and comment down below what ride or area you're most excited to see in this recreation, because I'm going to do them all. I promise. Thank you for watching episode 1 of this brand new series. Goodbye.